What's up, fantasy fans? So a little bit of a different setup for today. I'm filming at my girlfriend's house. This is Millie, our new puppy, and then Miko, our very much not a puppy. I don't know if he's in the shot. A little bit of equality for Miko here. Here's our little Miko Meek. And today I'm just going to tell you guys about my week, and then I'm also going to be reviewing Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. Andrews. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week. Still working through Warhost of Vastmark. Still working on the audiobook. Just finished chapter 4. My sister gave me some notes on some diction and some pronunciation I kind of butchered. And then we're going right into chapters 5 and 6. As for the edits on my manuscript, the prologue is still very rough. Chapter 2 is looking fairly good, aside from awkward dialogue. Chapter 1's looking great, but still needs quite a bit of editing. And then on to the main topic of the video, Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. Andrews.
They were keepers of the dead, and people came to them to hear the stories of their deceased loved ones. I know you carry much sorrow in your heart, Marana, she says, but don't mourn what isn't dead yet.
This was a finalist for SPIFBO 9, and I do think it was criminally snubbed, right? Because if you look at the reviews, and this isn't anything against any reviewer, some of the reviews were 9 out of 10, and then some were like a 4 out of 10. So I feel like usually when books are this divisive, I gravitate more towards them because I feel like they took some risks. And this book, I think especially, took some risks and went very contrary to what a lot of people are looking for in fantasy, and I think it paid off remarkably well. So, we get this cover, and I actually love the cover. At first I didn't, because I thought it felt too much like a romantasy cover, but I've since gone back on that. I really love the imagery that we have. It kind of echoes the Bone Weaver aspects of our main character, but the naked hardcover is absolutely brilliant, and I think if more people knew what they were getting in this naked hardcover, these would sell a lot better. But in this book, we have the main characters of Morgana and Percy, and this is told from Morgana. Is it Morgana or Morgana? It's been a while since I've read it, if I'm being honest with you. Morana. It's Morana. Morana. Amazing, brilliant book. I think K.E. Andrews does not get as much praise as she deserves. My friend David from Four Corners of the Page actually did an interview with her. I'll link it, put the thumbnail somewhere on the screen. Just a truly remarkable story we have here. So it looks, from that dust jacket, it looks like it would be a romantasy type story. It almost feels like a Western, and that's kind of ironic considering the next book K.E. Andrews wrote after this is Yeehaw Dragon Story, I think it's called, and it's like a dragon Western. I haven't read that one yet, but this has Western vibes as we follow Morana and Percy as their home is destroyed and she is being hunted for her Bone Weaver abilities, and we follow them on the run as they very much are seeking to find a home. And that's what this story is really about, is these two characters that have so much love for each other, and they don't just feel like a married couple, they feel like best friends, as I think most well-written fictional couples should feel. And you follow them as they are on the run, as they try to find this home. And this is a relatively short novel, but it's able to, explore these characters and explore these themes of connection. And then connection is a big theme for this, much like, in like Robin Hobb's books, her magic ties into the themes of connection. Same thing here. Morana, she is compelled to write the stories of the dead she encounters. It's just so beautifully written. I think K.E. Andrews, I haven't read her other works, though I really want to, in the future, I want to maybe interview her. I haven't, messaged her or anything about that eventuality, but I kind of want to read more of her other works to get an idea first. But I will say from this first book, her prose are remarkably well written. Absolutely beautiful prose. Some of my favorite prose I've read in self-pub. And I don't want to, highlight the self-pub aspect too much when I review books anymore, because, before I'd say, oh, Sword of Kaigen's the best self-pub book I've ever read. And now it's like, okay, it's one of the best books I've ever read. The Aedaean Trilogy, one of the best book series I've ever read. This, one of the best standalones I've ever read. Dreams of the Dying, one of the best book ones I've ever read. It no longer needs that for self-pub disclaimer on there. I no longer need to say, oh, this is the best romance in self-pub. It's just the best romance I've read. I wouldn't even call it a romance. I'd say a love story. I'd say this and The Gallant by Janie Wirtz are the two best love stories I've read in fiction. And yeah, I just think that the prose are amazing. The characterization of Marana and Percy is just next level remarkable. This is a standalone. It doesn't feel like she can do a sequel where she left the story off at the end. I mean, maybe she could. I don't want to say what she may or may not have in the works, but it felt pretty complete to me. But I really hope she writes more in this world. I think the gods were pretty nuanced. The magic system, I would say, akin to magic system. The way the magic works in this book, I thought was really well done and would be, the map is vast and we only explore a small part of it. This world just feels very vast. And I don't know if she maybe has ideas to do more in this world in the future. I really hope she does, because I thought it was just such a breath of fresh air. I thought it was there are Gaelic inspirations here, I feel. I'm not very well versed in Scotland lore, Scottish lore and Gaelic lore and all that stuff, but I thought that this was brilliant. My final rating is a 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't read Murder at Spindle Manor, but this is definitely my favorite of the Spiffbo 9 finalists that I have read. And I will be covering more K.E. Andrews books in the future. The Assassin of Grins, I think. The Assassin, I'll put the cover on the screen somewhere. I want to read the first book in that. I want to read one of her poetry books, and I want to read her Western book before I ever have her on the channel, just because I want to be well-versed in authors' bibliography. But having only read one of her novels, I think this is an exceptional book. You could read it in an afternoon or a day or two if you don't have as much time. Yeah, just a brilliant book, and you can tell she has a little bit of experience in writing poetry from the way that her prose reads. Just a brilliant book, and I don't think it's getting as much attention as it deserves. Hills of Heather and Bone.